All right, so in this one, this is how to do the unit circle, and we're going to use this idea of special right triangles. So you have 45, 45 special, and you have 30, 60, 90 special. So 45, 45 special, remember that your sides of a triangle are going to be your legs. Remember, this is your leg, and this is your leg. So what we said before with the 45, 45 is that your legs were x. And then your hypotenuse was x times the square root of 2. This time, what's different in this case is that you've got your hypotenuse to be 1. So if 1 is equal to x times the square root of 2, we have to solve for our leg. So I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. I'm going to divide by that square root of 2. This cancels out. And now our leg of a 45, 45 triangle is 1 over the square root of 2. But we don't like to have the square root of 2 to be on the bottom, so we want to call what is rationalize the denominator, because you don't want radicals on the bottom. So we multiply both the square root of 2 on the top and the bottom, because the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 becomes the square root of 4, and then this is 1 times the square root of 2. Well, the square root of 4 ends up being just 2. So our leg, which is square root of 2 over 2, that's how we got that. And what happens is with the unit circle, so if I go up here with the unit circle, your radius is always going to be 1. And we'll talk about that more when we get down here. Same thing with this. So this one is your hypotenuse, and this is your short leg, and this is your long leg. So with the 30, 60, 90. So the short leg is just going to be x. We always said that the short leg was x, your hypotenuse was 2 times x. Well, if your hypotenuse is 1 and then 2x, divide by 2, so x is 1/2. That's how we got our short leg to be 1/2. And then our long leg is just x times the square root of 2. So if I have my x value to be 1/2, or not square root of 2, times the square root of 3, so I have 1/2 times the square root of 3, and when you just multiply to get that, you're just going to go 1/2 times the square root of 3 ends up being, or 1 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 3, and then 2 times 1 is 2. So that's how you're getting your long leg. So this is your long leg, short leg, and here. So we're going to go through and we're going to find, and then this kind of goes with what we did yesterday for sine and cosine. So remember yesterday when we did this with sine was y over r. And then cosine was x over r. So then that's what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to find our y and our x. So basically what happens with 30, this is a 30, 60, 90. So our y is our short leg. So y is our short leg. So our short leg ends up being 1/2. And then our long leg, y is our short leg. That's 1/2, sorry. Our long leg is x. And then our long leg ends up being the square root of 3 over 2. That's it. So now we've got 45, 45s. Same thing. This is just going to be our legs. These are both going to be our legs. And we got that a 45, 45, both our x and our y values are going to be exactly the same. So my x value is going to be the square root of 2 over 2. And my y value is going to be the square root of 2 over 2, because it's a 45, 45. And then I've got a 60 degrees. So this right here, the 60 degrees, this y is my long leg. because it's an opposite of 60 degrees. That's my long leg. So that y is the square root of 3 over 2. And then my x is my short leg. And my short leg is going to be 1/2. So now we've got this. So this was for that, this is for that first little quadrant. So again, my long leg was y, so that's the square root of 3 over 2. And then my short leg is 1/2. So now what happens, you have to find the horizontal sine, and the horizontal is your x value, cosine. We kind of talked about that right here. This is where we talked about it yesterday. And your y value is your sine and the distance around the circle. So in this case, when you go over here, now we're going to do quadrant 2. So when we look at quadrant 2, what happens is that I'm going to go all the way around. And so this ends up being 120. So this angle right here, my reference angle is 60 degrees. So my reference angle equals 60 degrees because that's 120. So then if this is my 60 degrees, I go back to my little triangle and I'm going to say, oh yeah, that's my long leg, and then this is my short leg. So this is going to be my but this one's going to be my long leg, and this is going to be my short leg. So when you look, you kind of go back to that 60 degrees. Oh yeah, the long leg is going to be, so that y, that long leg, is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. My short leg is going to be 1/2. So then we go here. This angle is 135, but my reference angle is 45 degrees. That should be angle. So my reference angle is 45 degrees. Well, what's special about x and y when it's 45, that these are just both legs. And remember that, and then the thing is that this x value ends up being negative. This x value is negative because you moved to the negative. So x is negative. So then when you have your long leg, this was, remember, they're both the same, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2, excuse me, over 2. And then this, when you're moving to the left, because this is your origin, 0, 0, so this would be a negative value. So now we've got this one. This angle is 150 degrees. Your reference angle is 30 degrees. So now when we go back and we look at that 30 degrees over here, your short leg was square root of 3. Your short leg was 1/2, and then your long leg was square root of 3 over 2. So this is your long leg, and then this is your short leg. So your long leg is square root of 3 over 2. The difference is you're moving to the left, so that will be negative. So now you're going to move to the left, that's negative. And now when you look at your short leg, that's just going to be positive 1/2 because you go up 1. So now when you go back and look, you found the horizontal sine and cosine distance around the unit circle of quadrant 2. Go back and circle all those x and y values only in the second quadrant. And I'll explain what you have to do here during class. So now we're going to go to quadrant 3. So in quadrant 3, you're going to find your x and y values. So this right here is going to be 210. So at 210, that angle, at 210, this reference angle ends up being 30 degrees. And we just talked about that. So with that 30-degree angle, because we just did it, so 30-degree reference angle, and then this is going to be your short leg, and this is going to be your long leg. And so with a long leg, that's going to be the square root of 3 over 2. And then your short leg for 30, 60, 90 is going to be 1/2. The difference is you're going to go, when you're moving long leg, I'm moving to the left. So that's going to be negative. And then I'm moving to the right. And then I'm moving down. So that's going to be negative. And then this one is 135 degrees. So now your reference angle is 45 degrees. And when you have your reference angle, both of your legs are exactly the same. So that's the square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And then I'm moving to the left, so that's negative. And I'm moving down, so that's negative. And then my last one is that's 240 degrees. So when you go 240, my reference angle is going to be 60 degrees. And when you get 60 degrees, this is going to be your long leg, and X is your short leg. So my short leg is 1/2 of a 30, 60, 90. And my long leg is the square root of 3 over 2. And now we're going to look. So I'm going to move to the left, so that has to be negative. And I'm going to move down, so that has to be negative. So in quadrant 3, I want you to think about it. What changed from quadrant 2 to quadrant 3? My things are the same, square root of 3 over 2, 1/2, but something changed. So you have to think about what that change is. And then again, I'll explain step 8 for you for your homework today. Now this next thing, quadrant 4. So in quadrant 4, what happens is we start and we're going to go all the way here. So this is 300 degrees. My reference angle ends up being 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees right here. So this means that this is my long leg and my X is my short leg. So remember that your short leg is always going to be 1/2. And your long leg is square root of 3 over 2. This is only true for 30, 60, 90s. So, and now I look. So when I'm going to see if it's going to be positive or negative. So I'm moving to the right. So that's going to be positive 1/2. And now when I look, I'm moving down. So that's going to be negative square root of 3 over 2. And then we're going to go over here to this one. Let me go all the way over. So that's 315 degrees. So that 315, my reference angle is going to be 45. Because 360 minus 315 ends up being 45. So my reference angle is 45. So these are my legs. This is a leg. This is a leg. They're exactly the same. The X and Y value is exactly the same. So it's the square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2. And now what happens is we now look at the direction. So I'm moving to the right, so that's positive. And then I move down, so that one's negative. And then on this one, I'm going to go all the way over. So I have 330 degrees. My reference angle is 30 degrees. So this right here is going to be your short leg. And this right here is going to be your long leg. And remember that your long leg is always square root of 3 over 2, and your short leg is 1/2. So now we got to figure out which directions. If you're moving to the right, it's going to be positive, and then I'm moving down, so it's going to be, it's going to be a negative value because I'm moving down. And then that's how you kind of get your ankle measurements. Sorry, I made it so you couldn't see. So this is going to be your long leg again. Remember that your reference angle is all the way around is 360. So 360 minus 330, that's how I got my reference angle to be 30. And my long leg, my short leg. And then you're moving to the right, so that's positive, and then you're moving down, so that's negative.